हेलो एंड खुश आमदीद टू टेक तर्जुमा, एक बाइलिंगुअल पॉडकास्ट जो कि उर्दू और इंग्लिश में पाई जाती है, जो कि एक आउटलेट है मेरी अपनी टेक थॉट्स के लिए और ऑल्सो मेरे व्यूअर्स और listeners in this case, for them to tune in and get to know about all the advancements in tech या जो भी नई इजादात आई हैं या जो भी नई इन्वेंशंस आई हैं उनके लिए. Okay, so on episode 2 today we're talking about advancements in the automotive industry or in the whole transport sector as a whole. This includes cars, bikes, trucks, lorries, and everything, electric vehicles, and the whole infrastructure, naval transport, and even aviation, sort of. So, to start off, it's going to be a somber start. The EU has decided to ban the sale of new petrol and diesel cars from 2035. So basically, वो चाहते हैं कि the whole European Union वो चाहते हैं कि to reach a climate neutral goal by 2050. 2050 तक वो चाहते हैं कि हमारी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड emissions nearly zero हो. वो कह रहे हैं कि 2030 तक they want to cut emissions from cars by 55% and from vans by 50% compared to 2021, so they can reach their zero emission goal by 2035. So they're banning new CO2 driven cars, CO2 emitting cars. What will happen to the current petrol and diesel driven cars? The rule is that yeah, you can still drive your current car. नए रूल्स का ये मतलब नहीं है कि आपकी जो अपनी गाड़ी अभी है जो कि CO2 emissions कर रही है अभी, इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि आप उसे खत्म कर दो. वो आपकी ही है, इट्स योर प्रॉपर्टी. You can drive it, but you can't buy a new car after 2035, but you can drive your current car till the end of its lifespan. Because उनकी बेसिकली रीजनिंग ये है कि एक गाड़ी की एवरेज लाइफ स्पैन होती 15 साल है. तो अगर हम 2035 पे बैन लगा देंगे तो 2050 तक उनकी गैस guzzling vehicles will be gone and सारे फिर electric vehicles will be the only option to buy. तो 2050 तक everyone will have an electric vehicle. That is their goal. So banning of gas guzzling cars in 2035 is basically related to not having any gas guzzling cars by 2050, which is quite ingenious. Okay, so the other thing is obviously people have to look at the resale values of their car and people have to look at the whole resale market. So the question is, will it be possible to buy and sell second-hand petrol and diesel-driven cars after 2035 and get fuel for them? So basically, yeah, this will be possible. Magar, the overall cost of ownership for those non-electric vehicles, fuel-driven cars, will probably increase because the cost of fuel will definitely increase. Maintenance and purchasing will increase, and insurance will definitely increase. The maintenance bit will increase because no one is really making those cars anymore. तो क्या नाम है उसके parts ढूंढना is going to be way harder. So it's going to be hard for you to own one. But obviously enthusiasts will be able to own one and they will keep trying. So keep the engine alive, please. Yeah, from manuals to the engine, this is bad. Okay. So the other question is, what type of zero CO2 emission cars will most people be driving? Well, जो इस वक्त ट्रेंड चल रहा है वो तो बेसिकली यही है कि आपकी इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स होंगी बैटरी ड्रिवन, बिकॉज उनकी ओनरशिप कॉस्ट इज स्टिल लोअर देन अदर अल्टरनेटिव्स. मगर there are other options which are pretty dead and we'll talk about them later, but foreshadowing, they include hydrogen fuel cell cars and e-fuels made from electricity and hydrogen turned into synthetic petrol, which is expensive right now. Okay, the next point is electric cars. You'll have to buy them. So will they be affordable? Yeah, obviously. Well, at that point, since everyone will have electric cars, there will be budget options, there will be way high-end options and mid-range options, just like there are with fuel cars now. Because obviously they have to adjust the whole market to a new standard. Okay, so what will happen to the waste from electric batteries? That is a really good question. This will be addressed by another legislation. I'm just looking at this part. For this part, I'm looking at the European Parliament document. Apparently, there will be another legislation, such as the Renewable Energy Directive and the new battery regulation, which will make sure the production process is CO2 neutral and does not have an adverse effect on the environment. Okay, so making batteries won't be that bad. So your Prius, or actually your Tesla, won't actually harm the environment more than your fuel cars, which is the case right now. Because making a battery is really, really bad for the environment right now. But when we shift the whole industry there, I think it'll even out. Acha. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about on the EU ban because, yeah, I'm not going to talk about a depressing topic anymore. But on that note, we still have to talk about the charging and infrastructure. जो चार्जिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है वो भी ऑब्वियसली साथ अडेप्ट करेंगे तो ही ये चल सकता है नहीं तो नो वंस गोना बाय एन इलेक्ट्रिक कार इफ यू डोंट हैव दैट सो चार्जिंग जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है वो ऑब्वियसली एक्सपैंड तो कर रहे हैं एंड कंट्रीज लाइक द यूएस कनाडा यूके it's really a really good infrastructure and charging has gotten really really fast. However, in Pakistan, लोगों के पास e-tron तो होती है और क्या नाम है ऑडी पोर्श टाइकैन्स हैं दो तीन मैंने टेस्ला खुद भी देखी हुई हैं मगर I there is genuinely not a single charger like though I think there are two chargers in Lahore, one's in defense and the other is in Kent, I think. But yeah, it's a pretty bad infrastructure in Pakistan, and no one is working on it. Not even the government is working on it. There are no mandated plans for this, and we're a little behind on that. Yeah, but it's Pakistan. Come on. Okay, so there's another thing. There are talks about developing a wireless charging technology for electric vehicles, like those talks about the Blue Road in China or Russia, where you would drive over it and it would slowly charge your car over time, which is smart, but it's going to be pretty hard, I think. Okay, so the other thing I have to talk about is the exact infrastructure and the ports that are evolving. So for those of you who don't know, there are three types of charging for electric cars. At level 1 charging, there is the J1772 connector, which adds approximately 5 miles of range per 1 hour of charging. जो is fine. Actually, no, it's pretty bad. That's an hour of charging just to add 5 miles. That's like what if you अगर आप सारी रात अपनी गाड़ी चार्जिंग पे लगा कर रखो, assuming आप घर आते हो समझो 11 बजे, and you have to go out at I don't know say 7 again. What's that? 6, 7, 8 hours of charging रात को ठीक है 8 घंटे में आप 5 8 क्या होता है हाँ हाँ 40 miles overnight, which is fine for like if you have to just commute to your office and back. 40 miles is I think pretty much a lot, but it's still considering the use of a car. Like I use my car for like daily. The daily use is I think nearly 100 kilometers, जो कि कितना बनता है 50 60 miles. So I don't think overnight charging, level 1 charging is just too slow, and it's pretty old at this point, so it doesn't matter. लेवल 2 is way better. इसमें आती है कि approximately 25 miles of range per 1 hour of charging. तो वही 8 literally 5 times more. So from you're going from 40 miles to 200 miles overnight, which is more than acceptable. So yeah, level 2 charging is the one that is pretty much everywhere. But then there are the DC fast chargings, which are taking up. With level 2 charging is again, by the way, the thing you get offered at your home. So that's the thing you plug in your car overnight and you use it, which is pretty normal for everyone. But DC fast charging वो है जो कि आपके terminals पे होगी at plants and stuff, and at petrol stations or fueling station or like electricity stations at this point. I don't know what they're called because Pakistan में है नहीं. But approximately on DC fast chargings, you have 100 to 200 plus miles of range for 30 minutes of charging, which is mind-bogglingly fast compared to level 1 and 2. And these are the ones that are offered at heavy-duty corridors and installed at stations. तो रैपिड चार्जिंग होती है और आपकी गाड़ी आधे घंटे में you can just travel to the next city and back actually. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so the next thing on our list is hydrogen cars. Yeah, I said I'll come back to that. अच्छा, so अगली जो hydrogen cars हैं, for example Toyota Mirai which never came to Pakistan. Actually, how would they come to Pakistan? They barely had infrastructure in the UK. Hydrogen cars, the way they work, they have hydrogen fuel cells. You fill the tank up with compressed hydrogen, and वो जो hydrogen होती है वो फिर compress हुई बाहर आती है engine में आती है. It combines with oxygen, and basically that reaction वो exothermic होती है, and you produce energy which is used to drive the car. अच्छा. The thing is, electric vehicles उनकी efficiency होती है तकरीबन 85 to 90%. तो you add energy and 85 to 9 you add energy via charging. तो और 85 to 90% of that energy वो आपकी use होती है, and there's a little very little energy loss. मगर hydrogen cars के अंदर you have 25 to 30% efficiency, which is way less. The way this is derived is the energy used to compress that hydrogen and put it into tanks. वो energy आप देखते हो, and the amount of energy you get back from exploding that hydrogen into water, that energy is 25 to 30% of the energy required to process that hydrogen in the first place. So almost 45% आपकी energy lose होती है just to produce the hydrogen, which lowers their efficiency or energy conservation, which just makes them really bad. Or though the whole concept of fail ही हो गया था Toyota मेरा, it never took off. The UK, I watched a video from Top Gear. उनके कुछ 2 या 3 I think total हाइड्रोजन स्टेशन थे, तो वो और बात है, उनका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी नहीं था और ऊपर से गाड़ी भी फजूल है. तो it didn't really have a point. Okay, next up we have e-fuel, specifically Porsche's e-fuel. This is a very exciting topic. So, Porsche fired up production of e-fuel made from water in Chile at the start of 2023, or more specifically, right at the end of 2022, around December. So, what is e-fuel? E-fuel basically it is fuel and it is burned to produce carbon dioxide and water, but nothing else. The point is that nearly carbon-free driving with a combustion engine is possible, मगर बहुत मुश्किल काम है. तो पोर्शा सिंथेटिक फ्यूल्स बहुत अच्छे से काम कर रहे हैं, एंड द पॉइंट इज अब वो एक फ्यूल बनाना शुरू कर दिया उन्होंने जो कि सिर्फ पानी से बनता है और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड यूज़ करके बनता है. तो पॉइंट ये है कि आपकी गाड़ी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्रोड्यूस करती है, वही बात हो रही है जो नॉर्मल फ्यूल्स का होता है, मगर पोर्शा इज यूजिंग वही कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड टू टर्न इट बैक इनटू फ्यूल एंड देन टर्न इट बैक इनटू कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. तो एक कार्बन न्यूट्रल चीज़ बेसिकली ईजाद की है उन्होंने. तो हारू ओनी चिली में उनका एक पहला ऑपरेटिंग ई फ्यूल प्लांट है, एंड इट इज़ द फर्स्ट एंड ओनली ऑपरेटिंग ई फ्यूल फैसिलिटी इन द वर्ल्ड. पोर्शे के सीईओ का एग्जैक्ट कोट है कि एक कोट्स our e-fuel will destroy the entire EV industry, which is a big claim. But honestly, I am rooting for them because I don't want electric vehicles to take over the whole world. Acha. Porsche's board member Barbara Finkel said that if there is not enough renewable energy available to make e-fuels, it makes much more sense that you use this energy directly in electric cars. Our strategy is to push fully on electromobility, and we have e-fuels in addition. Therefore, especially when it comes to Europe, it is of essential importance that the government increases the ambition to establish a good charging infrastructure based on renewable energy. तो उनका पॉइंट ये है कि बेसिकली अगर it's harder to make e-fuels and it's less efficient, तो we will be mainly focusing on electric cars, उनकी Taycan और Taycan Turbo और electric vehicles वाली साइड के ऊपर. मगर पॉइंट ये है कि e-fuels are an additional supplement. तो since electric vehicles are the main source of Porsche's carbon neutral thing, the point is they want Europe and all of them to have a renewable energy infrastructure. तो आप जो एनर्जी इस्तेमाल करो टू चार्ज योर कार्स वो एटलीस्ट रिन्यूएबल होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि हर चीज़ ई फ्यूल से कवर नहीं हो सकती. दैट इज़ जस्ट नॉट अ पॉसिबिलिटी. Okay, so the next thing we have to talk about is self-driving systems, which kind of died in hype, magar even though they're actually getting better by the day. So let's talk about the Society of Automotive Engineers first. The SAE defines and maintains various standards for the automotive manufacturers. और ये standards जो होते हैं the manufacturers have to adhere to these जब भी वो कोई claim बनाते हैं फिर बेशक वो horse power of any vehicle हो या torque हो या जो मर्जी हो they need to check with the SAE first and basically अगर आप कोई horse power का figure का claim बना रहे हो the SAE defines वो horse power होती क्या है तो what its relation to self driving is कि SAE has basically a standard for self-driving. They have 6 levels, level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for self-driving cars. The point is that new automotive vehicles must adhere to all of these standards. And even the old one, they have to fit in somewhere here. ये स्टैंडर्ड क्या है मैं एक्सप्लेन कर देता हूँ SAE लेवल 0 है बेसिकली SAE लेवल 0, 1 और 2 जो है ये सारे ड्राइवर सपोर्ट फीचर्स हैं टेक्निकली एंड 3, 4 और 5 हैं दीज आर ऑटोमेटिक ड्राइविंग फीचर्स ऑटोमेटिक 3, 4 और 5 वाली कोई व्हीकल दिस इज अ डिस्क्लेमर कोई 3, 4 और 5 वाली व्हीकल इज नॉट ऑन द मार्केट टुडे ऑल ऑफ देम ईदर फिट इनटू लेवल 0, 1 और 2 अच्छा तो लेवल 0 के एग्जाम्पल फीचर्स हैं ऑटोमेटिक इमरजेंसी ब्रेकिंग ब्लाइंड स्पॉट वार्निंग लेन डिपार्चर वार्निंग ये आपकी नॉर्मल गाड़ियाँ जो कि इवन पाकिस्तान में पाई जाती हैं काफ़ी नॉर्मेलिटी के साथ जैसे MGHS है उसमें फीचर्स हैं सोनाटा में नहीं है सॉरी एनी न्यू मर्सिडीज और BMWs दे हैव दीज फीचर्स फिर उसके बाद आते हैं आपके SAE लेवल 1 फीचर्स जिसमें आपकी लेन सेंटरिंग है और अडेप्टिव क्रूज कंट्रोल है जो कि लाइडा सेंसर यूज़ करके अगली गाड़ी को देखते हैं और देखते हैं वो कितनी स्पीड पे जा रही है और उस हिसाब से वो अपनी क्रूज कंट्रोल सेट करती है ताकि आप एक कांस्टेंट डिस्टेंस रखो दोनों गाड़ियों के बीच में और लेवल 2 जो है ऐसे ही लेवल 0, 1 और 2 दिस इज लेवल 2 वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट उसमें लेन सेंटरिंग आती है विद अडेप्टिव क्रूज कंट्रोल एट द सेम टाइम सो द पॉइंट इज फॉर ऑल ऑफ दीज फीचर्स टेक्निकली आप ड्राइव कर रहे हो यू आर द ड्राइविंग फिगर whenever these driver support features are engaged इवन अगर आपके पाँव पेडल्स को टच नहीं कर रहे और आपके हाथ स्टीयरिंग व्हील को टच नहीं कर रहे आप सुपरवाइज कर रहे हो जो मर्जी हो रहा है बिकॉज अगर कुछ हुआ इट्स ऑन यू you must constantly look at them and you must steer brake or accelerate as needed to maintain safety this is why all of this driving features right now are technically level 1, 0, 1 or 2 and the point is कि level 3, 4 और 5 जो हैं none of them are available right now because level 3 के अंदर it would be a traffic jam chauffeur this is basically an example feature in this when the feature requests you must drive but you are not driving basically even if you are in the driver's seat you are not doing anything you can sit in the back if you want to no one needs to sit in the front level 2 के लिए there can be sorry level 2 I mean level 4 the second level of the driverless features they can be uh, they are classified as basically automated driving features that do not require you to take over driving at all level 3 के लिए you might have to take over whenever something happens but for level 5 4 and 5 you don't have to take over driving at all इसके अंदर driverless taxis आ गए हैं और pedals और steering wheels गाड़ी में शायद ना हो बिल्कुल भी which is scary but cool at the same time and in the last level this is the same as the level 4 but it can drive in anywhere in all conditions बारिश हो रही है पहाड़ों पे जाना है it can take over it's completely autonomous so for more details on current cars about this let me just open up this document yeah let's talk about Tesla's autopilot this ये आपका सबसे पहला सेल्फ ड्राइविंग सिस्टम था जो कि वाइडली अवेलेबल था even though autopilot is suggests a very advanced name it's not that advanced and इस confusion की वजह से बहुत सारे fatal accidents भी हो चुके हैं lawsuits भी हो चुके हैं और federal investigation भी हो चुकी है into how Tesla advertised its self-driving technology okay so despite the controversy autopilot की वजह से एक बहुत अच्छा ट्रेंड सेट हो गया था जो कि बहुत सारे manufacturers mainstream manufacturers because Tesla at the time was not that big of a thing in the car space the mainstream manufacturers were left scrambling to catch up thanks to autopilot self-driving technology is now found on dozens of models across almost every vehicle lineup and this includes examples like GM Super Cruise या फिर I don't know Ford का अपना I think Blue Cruise नाम है उनका. Yeah, they all have weird names like Hyundai and Kia have their highway assist, and Mercedes has their drive pilot, which is weirdly the easiest name and the easiest one to remember. Okay, so let's move away from electric vehicles now. Well, not completely move away, but let's move in a different direction. Let's talk about the Koenigsegg Yamera. Well, Jaws, सबके jaws honestly dropped around the world जब Koenigsegg, when they revealed that little Swedish manufacturer, when they revealed the Yamera in 2020, the dynamic four-seat supercar, four-seating supercar packing 1677 horsepower with a turbocharged three-cylinder engine जिसमें camshafts ही नहीं है. How did that work? So, अब 3 साल बाद 2023 में Koenigsegg ने प्रोडक्शन मॉडल्स रिवील किए हैं जुमेरा के, जिसमें काफ़ी बड़े चेंजेस हैं फ्रॉम द ओरिजिनल रिवील इन 2020, including an optional new powertrain which pumps the headlining figure to a mind-bending 2300 horsepower. पता है 2300 horsepower कितना होता है? मेरी बाहर सिटी खड़ी है, उसके अंदर आई थिंक 110 horsepower है. That thing can go 200. I mean, I haven't driven that and I'm not condoning you to do that. But 2300 horsepower. That's a lot. Okay. So it has a 2-liter inline 3-cylinder with a new electric motor developed by Swedish performance experts. इस electric motor का नाम है Dark Matter and it looks really cool. And the new axial flux, जो कि एक combination है of the word radial and axial flux. This motor produces 800 horsepower and 922 pound-feet of torque. That's one motor. Tesla gets 1100 horsepower from 3 motors. This one motor produces 800 horsepower. इतना ज़्यादा आउटपुट का मतलब है कि एक मोटर और कि the Jumeirah packs just one e-motor, reducing weight and saving space. Acha, also the inline 3, instead of that you can also get the optional 5-liter V8 which has 1500 horsepower on its own from the Yesco, and with the 800 horsepower that is how you get the 2300 horsepower headlining figure or 2028 pound-feet of torque. Did I mention it has 4 seats and luggage capacity? भाई इस गाड़ी के ऊपर आप बैठ के अपनी पूरी फैमिली के साथ, the father, the mother, a child and even a dog with your luggage, you can go grand touring all across Europe, breaking every single speed zone and just wrecking it across the autobahn. That's like the best concept that I've seen yet in a car, and it's just so appealing. Okay. Another thing, Bugatti is saying goodbye to the W16, which was famously featured in its Veyron Supersport, which beat the world records, and then in the Chiron, in the क्या नाम है, Bolide. No, I don't think it was in the Bolide. It was in the Chiron. It was in the Devo. Well, the W16 was a very iconic engine from the Volkswagen manufacturer Bugatti, and well, it helped them earn a lot of speed records. Well, now they're saying goodbye to it, and the next one will have a V8 hybrid powertrain. Okay, another thing that we can talk about is the cargo ship that was infamously carrying 3000 cars, which caught fire in the North Sea. The ship burned for nearly a week, and now it has been towed to a Dutch port for salvaging on Thursday, laying rest to fears that it would sink close to shipping lanes and a protected habitat for birds. तो चलो at least शुक्र है कि वो there wasn't any oil spills or it didn't sink in any raste of any other boats, so it didn't cause any other damages except for the damage that it had in its own vicinity. So the towing boats were accompanied by a boat with special booms जो कि यूज करते हैं to clean up oil spills just in case, just as a precaution. Okay, so the ship itself, उसमें थी 3,784 new vehicles, including 498 electric ones. The board on board it caught fire on July 25th while traveling from the German port city of Bremerhaven to Singapore. A lot of the gray paint on the side of the ships was completely gone, like completely काला हो गया था वो ग्रे पेंट और even the shiny silver of the aluminum or whatever material it was made of was exposed behind it जो कि सारा पेंट was scorched off because it was so hot इतनी गर्मी हो गई थी अंदर आग की वजह से कि सारा उसका पेंट उतर गया completely शुरू से एंड तक and it's well now the boat is being pulled in to salvage any materials that were left on it or any cars that were fine एक काफी unfortunate incident है ये Magar, at least no one was injured. One guy, I'm sorry I didn't mention this before, one person lost their lives, rest in peace, and some others were injured, but this death toll was kept to a minimum. Okay, so let's move away from cars for a bit and let's talk about boats now that we have this depressing segue, I have to say. But let's talk about boats. Uh, in the naval industries, a new advancement was made last year called toroidal propellers. Toroidal propellers basically they're propellers that are made of loops जो कि एंड से जुड़ते हैं और वो एंगल ऐसे होते हैं कि when they जब वो गोल घूमते हैं तो बेसिकली उनके थ्रू हवा पुश होती है because of the angle of the loops. तो basically the backstory is that एक team at MIT's Lincoln Laboratory was working on a silent ion propelled plane and this team came up with the initial concept of using the toroidal shape to push it through the air. ये जो annular wing shape है उन्होंने coin की थी और hopefully they're making a quieter propeller for this because propellers as we know are very loud. Initially this was like made for drones और drones के लिए और वैसे जहाज़ों के लिए इसका main वो था concept था मगर उसने the team they took a lot of iterations using 3D printers and they then made a finalized shape जो कि अब freely available है online जो कि आप download कर सकते हो and you can even 3D print it yourself. अच्छा obviously it won't be completely silent. They sound more like a rushing breeze than a propeller, making a but it does make a much less intrusive sound. अच्छा the point is this has not only gains in drones and stuff in uh, naval transport. This has a very huge impact. At mid-range RPMs, if you use a toroidal propeller instead of normal conventional propellers, the gain in efficiency is ridiculous, filling in a very big hole in the boat's acceleration curve and conserving huge amounts of energy. Acha. Basically, the point is at nearly 3000 RPMs, the it has a 107% increase in acceleration and it has a 107% efficiency increase basically at mid-range RPMs, which is a very big deal given the very huge requirements of a propeller-driven boat and at the scale of this industry. The fuel efficiencies they've increased drastically. Okay, so lastly, we have the aviation industry. And the honestly the biggest advancement we have there is the supersonic and hypersonic flight advancements with NASA's X-59 planes जो कि क्वाइट सुपरसोनिक फ्लाइट्स अचीव करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं क्वाइट सुपरसोनिक फ्लाइट से कमर्शियल क्वाइट सुपरसोनिक फ्लाइट से मतलब ये है कि basically they're trying to fix what the Concorde messed up. The Concorde was really quick and it was expensive, but obviously that came with a new technology. But the main problem it had was कि जब वो किसी भी क्या नाम है रेजिडेंशियल एरिया के ऊपर से गुजरती थी या किसी भी रेजिडेंशियल भी नहीं इवन लाइक ह्यूमन इनहैबिटेड एरिया के ऊपर से गुजरती थी लैंड के ऊपर से गुजरती थी whenever it broke the sound barrier, whenever it was breaking the sound barrier, एक बहुत ऊंचे और droning boom की आवाज आती थी, which obviously comes across as sonic boom, जो कि unavoidable होता है if you're breaking the sound barrier with the design that the Concorde had. So We did have supersonic flights once, and we did have transatlantic flights जो कि 2-3 घंटे में 2-3 घंटे में आपको न्यूयॉर्क से लंदन लेके जाते थे, which was amazing for the time. मगर obviously you don't see them around now. कोई वजह ये है इसकी. The point was it was too loud to maintain, and it was too annoying, and it was too expensive. So NASA is trying to fix that with the X-59 plane that they're working on, and now Lockheed Martin has taken in the production of that plane. Lockheed Martin का X-59 Quest or QUESST, this is the name of the plane. This cutting-edge aircraft is set to revolutionize air travel by eliminating the disruptive sonic booms with their new design qualities, which looks sort of similar to the Concorde, but somehow it's different, and the sonic boom problem is much better now. So basically, it was developed as a part with NASA, and now Lockheed Martin is going to take up commercial production of this plane, and we're hoping to see high-speed travel without disturbing communities below in a few years' time, which is honestly pretty amazing. And I can't wait to travel across the whole Atlantic, and instead of 24-hour flights from USA to Pakistan, it might even like be possible to have 2 flights a day. Wow, that's just weird to even think of. Okay, so this was episode 2. अब इसके अंदर मैंने कोशिश पूरी की थी कि उतना ज़्यादा बोलूँ कम है तो okay, I'll take feedback. Let me know in the comments or shoot me a DM wherever. And well, thank you for tuning in. This has been Tech Tarjuma. Goodbye and